Welcome to a brand new episode of the Oracles. My name is Manelisi, and I am with the beautiful, the superstar Oracle, Z Mazibu. Z, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? Happy Monday. Happy
Uh,
New Week.
yeah, happy Monday. And I'm good. I'm good. We'd actually already started with some conversations already. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We caught up a bit.
yeah, yeah, catching up a little bit.
Yeah.
So over the past week, quite a few things have been happening. Uh, the first one, we'll actually get to that one. Actually, yeah, we'll get to we'll get to it. It's the Rashid diss track. Yeah.
How did I know you're going
Rashid,
there? I
it's
just knew it.
yeah, it's Rashid's diss track to Stogie. And weirdly enough, he released that a day after the whole performance and the interview with the Sobering podcast, which you were
Yeah.
part of. And I want to hear about that. And then there's also one other thing that I want to talk about is KO. KO has been releasing some singles. I think he released like three singles over the last three or so months. So I want to talk about that as well. But yeah, and everything else we'll see as we get along. So I don't know. Do you want to start with the Stogie thing, the Rashid thing, and the Sobering podcast, or do you want to start with KO?
With KO, because I'm on the other side. Remember how you were with Jay Jody
Yeah,
and you hadn't listened and I had?
yeah,
That's me and KO right now. I saw the single that he released, I think 2 weeks ago, if not a week ago. You.
yeah.
I think it's you. And I saw quite a lot of people loving it actually on my Instagram, but I haven't gotten a chance to go and listen to it. Like, have we listened to the song?
Yeah. No, it's actually a very beautiful song. So you is basically a love song, and
Mm.
it's just talking about how nothing else matters except the woman in his life, where he's willing to not pay school fees, is willing not to do anything else as long as he uses the money, the little money that he has to make her happy. So it's that type of thing. And the sound that he uses for it on you is very, very similar to what Mbonginingema made. Whatever it is that Mbonginingema did, that's the sound that you is. See, I
Thing
lost you
just
there.
kicked me out. It just kicked me out. Literally, just went out
Okay.
of Zoom. Please, you went like silent. Then
Yeah.
I just yeah.
All right. Where did you when did you stop
Literally,
getting?
I lost you after it's a love song.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you is a love song, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
basically talking about this woman in his life, about how he's willing to sacrifice everything for her, especially financially, where he's willing not to pay school fees as long as she's happy, and things like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the actual point, and actually the sound as well, it's similar to what Mbongeni Ngema made.
I
But
was there.
yeah, it's similar. Like I think actually some did sample Mbongeni on there. But I don't know if it's similar to Zola or which was that other one? Uh, I forget that other one, which was one of his biggest songs as well. But yeah,
Was it Woman? Because I lost you there again. I was speaking about Stimel.
yeah, it's either Stimela or Stimela Zola or I forget what that other one. My for sure, so yeah, it's either one of
Mm-hmm.
those two. There's the trumpet on there is
Mm-hmm.
from one of those songs. So the reason why I want to talk about KO is actually the two of the songs. So he released three singles, right? So far since December. We released you. Okay, starting with Tata. Tata was in December, I think. November or
Um,
December. And
early December or late
yeah,
November
yeah,
around there.
yeah, I think it was early December. And we actually talked about that, where I said
Mm-hmm.
that the baseline is very similar um, to AKA's Lemons, where there's an element
Yeah.
of lemons in there. And then in Jan, you released S Wave Freestyle. There is just slow. It is
That's
like
my vibe.
yeah,
That
like it's
song is my
proper.
vibe,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, like it's
Working out to
proper
that
KO.
thing.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, it's proper KO. But that also again, just quickly going back to Tata. Tata is sort of like Afro beats-ish, similar
Yeah.
to what's that hit song of his that released the previous year in December or November? Um,
Which one?
why do I keep forgetting the song? Uh, wait, let me find it. Oh, it's similar to Sete. Yeah, yeah. Tata is similar, very similar to Sete. And then now in February, we released You. Now the thing is about these three songs is that she categorized all three as hip hop. Yet when you listen to You and Tata, they're nowhere near hip hop. It's not even rapping, especially on You. You on You is actually singing. He's not even rapping on there. The beat itself is nowhere near hip hop. So I wanna know from you, how do you feel? How do you feel about K.O. doing that?
I think it's two-way, right? It could be a thing of hip hop artist, so I
Yeah.
always classify my songs as such,
Hmm.
right? Or it could be a thing of saying I see this or I hear it as hip hop, but it's just a love song that's a hip hop song. Because if you classifies it as what you call as Amapiano, as Afrobeat or Afrotech, they'll be like, okay, what is KO doing now? No, is he like giving us tourism as well or what?
Yeah.
But I think I could be wrong, but I think for me it's mostly on I'm a hip hop artist, so whatever I release is gonna fall under that category.
Yeah,
Because
but
that's what we know him as. We know him as a hip hop artist.
but the thing for me is I mean music can be sort of like a fluid thing, especially in terms of the creation process.
Good.
It can be fluid in the sense where your creativity takes you. But what matters the most is what you come up with. What's the end product after you are
Yeah.
done working? So these songs, hopefully, neither of these three songs are in an album. I don't know if it's going to be releasing an album soon, and if any of them are going to be in there. I mean, the album itself, if it's mainly hip hop, then it will be categorized
Yeah.
as hip hop. But as
Yeah.
singles, I don't think that they should be categorized as singles. I mean, they should be
It's hip hop.
categorized as hip hop. Yeah, now we may know him as a hip hop artist. We may know him as a rapper. That's where musically his foundations are.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, these songs, at least you and Tata, they are not hip hop songs, and they shouldn't be in the hip hop category, or rather, yeah, in the hip hop category. That the genre shouldn't be, uh,
Mm.
yeah, it shouldn't be under hip hop. So
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah, and like no one is going to crucify him if
True.
he puts it under if he puts it under Afrobeat or whatever it is that Mungini Ngema did. No one is going to crucify him for that because you actually it's a very good song. It's a beautiful song, and
Really.
I feel like it's one of those songs that over some time, if it actually got like proper airplay, especially on radio and on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in everyone's ears, it could actually make a classic wedding song. At least
And
that's
that's
how
what
I.
KO gets right. Like KO gets that thing right. One thing about Kill, he will get airplay and his songs will rise. Like I'm thinking back right now to not even check his days, like as him, the days of Scandal Love, you
Yeah.
know. He's always been that guy, like sort of a guy, and he's always been like when it's on radio, it plays in people's heads for a long time, and it becomes a classic because when you hear it now, if you hear Scandal Love right now, it takes you back there and you enjoy the song. So
Yeah.
now I hear you.
Yeah. And he knows how to make a good song. He knows how to make a
Oh,
hit song.
definitely,
Yeah, and he knows
definitely,
how to put it on radio.
definitely,
And that's something
yeah,
that cannot be taken away from him. But that was just my
definitely.
point. That was just my point. That is where I was as far as uh, putting
Now
those
I
two
have a
songs.
question in regards to that. Now I have a
Yeah.
question. Is single categorization that much of a big deal in the industry, or is it more of a you thing where you feel like categorize your song correctly?
Okay. As a hip hop head, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's important, especially
Okay.
because of how we enjoy the hip hop culture, on how we
Mm-hmm.
actually. I mean, if you love hip hop becomes your responsibility to keep it alive.
Okay.
To keep it as pure as it can, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what we do. That's why we buy the merchandise from rappers. That's why we go to hip hop events. That's why
Yeah.
we defend our favorite
Fans
rappers.
us.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
our favorite artists. So, and it also like and besides being like a hip hop head, like just generally being a music lover, it's very difficult to answer that because now I'm thinking
Mm.
in terms of what would be the reason why a song is categorized somewhere. Like, is it for award? Because it's definitely not going to get a Saha nomination with these two songs. That is
Mm-hmm.
definitely not going to happen. Even if I mean, maybe the summer is because we know good enough they can be.
They're very yeah.
Yeah, they can be bit nyana. So there may be for some odd reason they might nominate him under the hip hop category if the song is submitted under hip hop. It might even win it even. But generally, it's difficult to answer. But at the same time, I think it is important that we categorize songs for what they really are. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in terms of why, that is the more difficult question to answer. But just generally speaking, I feel like it is important that songs are categorized properly.
But I never really thought about it. Now that you mention and you bring the award aspect into it, it makes sense because it really wouldn't get a nod for best hip hop, you know.
Yeah,
But maybe if you categorize it as R&B, for example, it probably would have, you
yeah,
know, and taken that. But now seeing that he said it's hip hop, already it's throwing him out of that category of, you know.
yeah,
Now I
and
hear you.
and also I think it puts him in a position where people question his, where people would question his creativity as far
Okay.
as hip hop is concerned. Because what are you doing in a hip hop category when you're not making hip hop music anymore? And also, but I think it will be beneficial for him if he actually puts it in a different category, uh, because that way it opens him up to a new audience. But there's also the fear you would see he might actually go too far, where he might actually end up like Drake, for instance, where
Yes.
you know Drake as a rapper,
That's
but
singing.
yeah, but the singing and the way that he, and his choices in beats as well. So it's basically like
Yeah.
modern day R&B, what
Yes.
Drake is doing, and it's difficult now for him to actually go back and do like a proper hip hop album because his R&B fans, I think they far outweigh at this point, far outweigh his hip hop fans.
The hip hop fans. True. No, I hear you. It could make a person lose themselves in that.
Yeah, Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, but that's my take on that. That's my take on that. What do you think? Do you feel that it's important though to categorize according to the music that you make?
Now that we're having this conversation, I highly see the importance behind it because, as you said, with the awards, and also I think with because now the, I think also we're so programmed to artists, right? Because the
Yeah,
minute you mention KO in my head, I'm thinking, even if it's a love song, he's going to have a verse where he's rapping, like he did on Kind of Love.
yeah,
Even what's this Questa did Kitchili, right? But he drops a verse or two there, you know.
yeah,
And so the minute I see a KO, I'm already thinking, I'm expecting rather, excuse me, a hip hop song. And when I listen and I don't hear that, and I look at the categorization and I still see hip hop, it could be questionable.
yeah,
So now that you raise that, now that I think about it, it could, it, yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. I think, especially, I think also because as much as awards are not everything, there are some artists who believe in them. Like K-pop really believes in awards as much as he fights like he doesn't and acts like he doesn't. See, I feel like he does. So, and he might be mad now if he doesn't get a recognition for this single as a hip hop choice, but it's not, you know.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely not
So
a hip hop song.
it's because
Yeah,
I think to some extent it is important.
yeah, and maybe that's why the songs aren't getting the full recognition that they're getting.
It's supposed to
Because
get true,
yeah,
true.
because is I feel like it's more okay. Actually, it is true that now he's closer to the end of his career than he is to the beginning of his career. So
Yes,
where he is now, even rebranding, it will take a lot more work
a lot,
now
a
than
lot.
yeah, it will take a whole lot more work to actually rebrand and become this multi-genre artist and not just a hip hop artist because now he has to be introduced to a whole new genre. There's
Yeah,
people in this country. I mean, even young people
and
in
you
this.
know how you are in this country.
Yeah, like
We're
yeah,
like difficult to please.
yeah. I mean, reason was crucified just for moving from hip hop to Amapiano, and
Yeah,
yeah, and maybe he's also and hopefully this is something that he's doing that Kay was doing, where he is slowly leaning towards the whole Afrobeat type sound without actually
yeah,
fully immersing himself in it already, where he's trying to get us used to this new sound that is making. And
yeah.
what was still on KO as well, and this is something Zinger brought up. I don't know if he brought it up on his podcast, but I saw it on Twitter where he was asking. No, it was actually on his podcast, where he was asking if KO is a failure as a record label executive, like a record label owner. Um, before I actually go further, what do you think? Do you think he's a failure as a record label executive?
Not necessarily. No, it
Why?
might have not. It might have not ran as long as the other labels ran, but I
Yeah,
feel like in the time period that he ran that thing, personally, I feel like they did amazing. Or they did some good work. I really feel like they did some good work. As I said, it because most record labels run on for a very long time, for years, right?
yeah,
But I feel like in the time that he had, I think also it would have been more successful if he wasn't an artist himself.
yeah,
I really feel like he has potential to make the other artists big, but because he's also an artist, he will also focus on himself more than the others sometimes.
yeah,
So and him focusing on himself and look at the work that he did, the work that he put out, because KO for me is not just an artist that is just focused on the rapping. No, KO is fully on. KO works for his marketing. He works for like his brand. He's an image, right?
yeah,
And he works on that. He attends interviews. He makes sure that he looks good all the time. He's on to the fashion. So I feel like it's very present.
Hmm.
So I feel like if he wasn't an artist himself, he'd be able to pour into those cups for his artists more than he did with him being an artist as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't feel like it's a failure because I feel like he had a lot of potential. And the other people I was introduced to via the record label,
Yeah.
artists that I didn't know, and they were good actually to show that he also has a good ear for music.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, personally, I actually feel like he did fail as a record label executive, and the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that is we need to look at the artists that he has had. So he has had now two. Okay, first of all, right now with Skanda World, he had when he initially and we talked about this. I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
this where he started Skanda World. It was himself and Mahi, and there was both DJ Mr. X for Loki. Who else was there?
I think was Musli there as well.
No, no.
I think
Muzi
Musli
was
was there.
yeah.
Or
Muzi
was
was
she a
no. She was with Cash Time Live. Uh,
oh yes,
yeah,
yes,
not
I'm
not
like, yes,
yeah, not kind
not
of work.
kind of.
So
I think DJ Mr. X was there as well. I could be wrong.
who?
I think DJ Mr. X,
Yeah, DJ Mr. X was there as well.
Roy was Roy there as well. I know
Yeah, he
Loki was
was.
there. I think Roy was there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there was. I think there was like five, six artists.
Yeah.
On the. Yeah, I think that no, I think it was like 6 or 7 artists. Why I remember that it's like 6 or 7 is because he cut ties. Okay, he's professional. Um, KO cut ties with Mahi. And when Mahi left, I think he left with DJ Mr. X, maybe with Roy as well. Because I remember Mahi left with two other
The
artists.
people.
Yeah, two other
Yeah.
people. And and this was when Universal was actually coming in. I think Universal
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be like a publisher or something, but Skanda World signed a deal with Universal. So KO basically offloaded these other guys, Mahi and these 2 other guys. And now recently, he also cut off the guys that he was left with, Bingo Loki and I don't know who else, I can't remember who else was
Yeah.
there. So so now that's basically his kind of world gone again, where basically if it is still alive, KO is the only artist that's there. Now, before there was kind of world, there was Cash Time Live. Now at Cash Time Live, we had Woosley, we had AB Crazy. Was it? Yeah, AB
Was
Crazy.
Kid X there?
Kid X was there.
Was
There
Smash
was
there?
yeah. Before Zinger was Zinger, it was Smashes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the uh, yeah had like a huge roster. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like it was a really uh long list. It was basically um Young Money, Cash Money type thing. That's how big the roster was.
Yeah.
And where shortly after signing all these guys, because Mosley, I think, joined after there was Bolo, Kid X, and Baby Crazy, and everybody else. But Mosley dropped a few singles. I can't remember if she dropped an album under Cash Time Live, but she dropped some singles and then she left. Now
Yeah.
she never explicitly said the names. She never explicitly said let's say KO and or Cash Time Life, whatever. But she said the reason why she left that label, which she didn't name, was because now she was suddenly getting all these endorsement deals. She was on billboards. She was doing all these things. So she was basically popping once again because of the music, with basically a regeneration of no music through the music. Now, apparently, the record label that she was with, and I'm assuming that it is Cash Time Live, said, let's see, they want a cut of the money that she's making from the endorsement deals and all of that. And when she asked why would why would you want to uh, get money from that when it has nothing to do with you guys? this is all me. They said because they are responsible for making her cool again. But according to her, that those were the exact words. They were responsible for making her cool again, so they are entitled to a portion of the money that she's making outside of the music. So yeah, so so things like that. When you have things like that, and then you have artists like having a mass exodus of artists, and for Kid X wasn't exactly the big artist that he is today, but it wasn't exactly small either, because the
Yeah.
right already knew Kid
I
X.
feel like at that point, all of them had already, we knew them.
Yeah, we knew them.
We
AB
knew them.
Crazy,
Yeah.
the Hook King, we already knew him. So when you run a record label, and then you have all these artists come and go very quickly, uh, for me, it shows, would say, you're not exactly running the label like you're supposed to be running it. And another example, and this is something that, and it was, I feel, would say it was a huge, um, uh, what do you call this? Uh, it was a huge letdown for my E, especially towards my E.
Yes.
There
Oh,
was a time when my
yeah,
E,
no.
yeah, there was a
Yeah.
time when my E released like an album. I think I remember that it was a Friday. My E released an album, and KO decided on the same day to also release a single, which was more talked about than my E's album,
Yeah.
and that was a huge letdown. It was a huge disappointment where you have these two big artists that both come from, they've had a long-standing relationship because they're both part of Tear Gas,
Mm.
and then now they just started Stricken label together. They're working there together, and now the bigger artist basically tries to outshine the less bigger artist uh, in the label, where you guys are sharing the same resources. You guys are trying to
Yeah.
get the same money, uh, yet you are creating all this competition in there. So for me, things like that, and obviously there's a whole lot more. There's a whole lot of other things that happen. But for me, that is why I would say that KO actually failed as a record label executive. I mean, as an artist, is brilliant, absolutely
Yeah, he's
brilliant.
good.
Even with his mind and his work ethic is brilliant. But it's just the execution as a record label executive for me that makes him a failure in that department.
I think it's him being an artist as well. I really
Yeah,
believe that if he wasn't, he'd be focused more on his artist. But now he's basically a main character, and that's how he wants to stay as. Doesn't want to take a step back and not be a main character.
yeah, yeah, and
You remember how it's got Sabo, Birdman, and Lil Wayne were?
yeah,
I feel like Weezy poured also too much into them as he did into himself. At some point, I feel like he poured less into himself
yeah. At the time,
and more in them, pushing them.
yeah, because when Young Money came alive, uh, Lil Wayne was wise enough to recognize the light that was in Drake and Nicki Minaj.
And Nicki,
Yeah, and they had all these other guys also on there.
even Tiger, guys. Tiger is
Yeah,
not a great rapper, but we knew Tiger. We listened to Tiger because, they
yeah,
poured into
exactly.
him as well.
Yeah, exactly. So he gave everyone the opportunity. I feel like he gave everyone an equal opportunity.
Then
And,
do what you want to do with it
yeah,
right
yeah,
away.
yeah, like right away. Like, and that's also the vision of saying, look, the music with music, it comes that your time in the spotlight, it comes and goes. But when during your time, when you are in the spotlight, you need to milk uh, that opportunity. You need to make the most of that
Yeah.
opportunity. That even after you're done, your music should be able to still generate money afterwards. Yeah, and I feel that is part of the reason why Lil Wayne gave everyone an opportunity to say during this during this time, you guys should be as bright as you possibly can be, and
Yeah.
create the best music that you can possibly make. Because whenever your time is done, you still need to make money from all of this.
Yeah.
It's not like a 5 minute
True.
thing. Yeah, but this is a lifetime deal, I guess. Uh, while we're still here.
Yeah, let's keep building. So let's work and build on that and make sure that it takes us where we need to go
Yeah,
as a team.
yeah. Because and they built a solid team with young money. They built a really solid team, and I feel like everyone's success or failure was really up to them because everyone was pretty much put on the same on level ground. Like they all started the
Yeah.
same, and they all given the same opportunities, the same resources. So take whatever you can take and go as far as you can go. And only Drake and Nicki Minaj really went far.
Really, that's yes.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, it's just the two of them who really went far. Everybody else, Tiger really tried. Tiger tried as
No, I
best
tried.
as he
I
can.
tried.
Yeah, but we
No, he
know,
tried.
yeah, but we all know that as soon as you get into the Kardashian or Jenner family, you'll be lucky to come out alive.
Ah, let's not even go there. Let's not even touch that.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. So for me, KO, that's how I feel about KO's time as a record label owner. But also my how I feel about that, how he could actually go about uh, if he actually even intends on going at it the third time, is that right now as he still wants to climb higher in the music hierarchy, I guess, or solidify his place as one of the best in South African music. I feel like he shouldn't sign new artists, rather sign producers to be part of the label. Sign producers,
Yeah.
and he becomes the solo artist in the record label.
Yeah.
So now, in that way, he'll be building sort of
Everything
the
is about him.
sound. Yeah, everything is about him.
Yeah, I
He's
hear you.
Yeah, so through the record label, is going to own the masters, is going to own all of these things. And at the same time, he'll be building a sound and also creating an identity for the record label, so that when the time comes, when he decides that, no, what, actually, I'm done. I won't be doing this anymore. I'm not chasing after anything anymore. That's when he can actually sign artists onto the label because now he knows what he's looking for as far as artists are concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he'll focus on those artists.
yeah, and be able to focus on those artists to say, this is what we need to do to make you the best in the country. But for now, I feel like being a solo artist, going at it solo, and being the only one in the picture as far as his record label is concerned, I feel like that's the way to go.
Nice. The producer idea I like. I like it very much. It
Yeah,
makes so much sense.
yeah,
It makes
uh,
so much sense.
yeah. So now I actually want to hear about the Sobering podcast uh, recording conversation with Stogie and his performance as well. How was that last
That was beautiful. That was really beautiful. I think it started. I suppose it started 7, because I think registration was like 6, 6 and 6:30.
week?
Because I got there round about 10 past 6. Right, I got there early. First of all, I went there by myself. There.
Yeah.
My anxiety was peaking. And it's not the first time I went to a Stogie event by myself. The first time I went to a Stogie event by myself was literally the year the lockdown happened,
Yeah.
2020. He had an event in Feb. Then March, I think, got locked down. Yeah, I think, yes. I went, because when you just love an artist, it's like, what, it's fine. Whether I have somewhere to go with or not, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Literally went by myself again, got there registered. Oh, that's so cute. They had, it was free, right? So you just had to fill in that docu thing that he posted, right? And just fill in that, then they will send you an address. I think they were doing it for numbers because the artistry is like a theater on top, but then it's not huge. So I think they were doing it for the numbers.
Yeah.
So then day before they sent an address and RSVP and everything to RSVP. We went there. So when we get there, in the parking lot, actually, I bumped into DJs and, excuse me, that parking lot, number one, disclaimer, guys, the artistry is stressful.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm just like, guys, I'm not going to park this car. I'm going to leave it here. I'll just wait for someone to park it for me because I'm just like, what is going on? It is stressful, but that's besides the point. It's a beautiful venue. It's beautiful. Like, I think it's owned by Jay something, if I'm mistaken, or he's
Okay.
a part owner or something. But it's a very beautiful place. Got there, did that. Then I think it started. The recording started a bit late. It's not too late. Like 10, 15 minutes. It started, right? I know how things at the beginning, everybody is just okay. The boys, the suburban boys, they're always, especially Fred and Thingy, they're always energetic.
Yeah.
They're always up there, no, they're always up there. So I think that energy started obviously not transcending into the entire crowd because a lot of people came there by themselves because you could only fill in your name on the document, right?
Yeah.
It just happened that I know you, so I told you to do it so that you can also get the RSVP. So there are people who were there like in twos, in threes, and mostly the ones who came there in twos or threes, it was like people who work for like an organization, because I saw Ilflow and Musabelo Mkabela as well, and they are part of Flickr on Live,
Yeah.
So we went up with the amphitheater and they started the whole thing. They introduced him and Fred, you know how Fred likes being a young instigator.
Yeah.
So it's like, as much as it doesn't like being called a poet, welcome the poet. So now it became a thing because you know who called him a poet.
Yeah.
As Rashid. Yeah. So I thought Rashid actually, but guys, when I laugh at me, the way it's fine. So that happened. So it started, I think everyone was just going into it, easing into it. But 15 minutes in, everybody felt like, how hip hop events are, right? I'm going to say event, although it wasn't a big thing. People automatically start yelling, and it becomes a wholesome thing. The interaction between the crowd, between them as the host, Stogie, and just how authentic everyone was. Like everything was so organic. Like for the questions that were asked, the way he answered them, and he basically led us into his life pre moving to South Africa, and when he was already here.
Yeah.
So they were able to get that out of him in the short time that we had, because they even had to cut the podcast short because the performance was supposed to start at like 8. I think it started at 10:09, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh, no, past 9, because when I left the venue, it was like past 10 already.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it wasn't like an hour long. So they had to cut the podcast short because it was that engaging. Because even at the end, they opened up the floor for questions, for just anyone to say anything, just that people were asking him questions, that people who were thanking him for being who he is or who he has been in the game, for allowing people also to be themselves. And, when doing the podcast, they also touched on a few things that I had forgotten. And they were speaking about my transition. You know how we mentioned transitions earlier with reason and everything.
Yeah.
How when he tried doing that, remember that song, Hello Kitty?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
how
that
people lost their minds. They're like, to me, no. That's not you, So he also touched on that. And I remembered also how I felt when I heard Hello Kitty. I was like, and I saw the video, I'm like, no, man, what is going on? What do you mean? This can't be the same T from the V,
Yeah.
So and with him, he's had a lot of transitions, because I feel like, yes, it was T from the V, and there was also Utum, and now there's Stogie. And there's also that part of, he spoke about how the mispronunciation of his name. And he's saying the worst thing that he's had, he heard Stogie. Somebody called him Stogie. I'm like, where did they get the N from? He was saying that's the others are better because it's Stogie, the Stogie, which is better. But the one that blew him away was Stogie, because where did they get the N from? So all of that, it had to be like a transition, how he exists on his own, and he's still that great of an artist,
Yeah.
if not greater. So they really, I think it was more of, you don't get to sell a lot of that to me, you know. Yes, you post on Instagram. Yes, you listen to the songs, but I feel like when he's rapping is in a certain space, right? That when he's speaking and he's just chilled, he's not a completely different person, but you get to hear a whole lot more about him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was nice because the attention was solely on him and everyone was there for him. Like, and a lot of people came out and you could see that from the audience, these were like genuine Stogie fans. They would even bring up songs that he had forgotten about. They were quoting his only, at some point, people had to give him the melodies to a certain song of his that he had forgotten because they were questioning him about that song. They were saying it sounds like this Black Eyed Peas, and it's like, me, a Black Eyed Peas song. They were like, yes. Fred is like you said that before that your song that sounds like it's a Black Eyed Peas song.
Yeah.
He fought that so hard. Some girl that like gave us the name, to show that these are real Stogie fans. They know, they can hear from the keys, from the melody, good to know this is a Stogie song and you did this. And I think that also like took him back a bit that I know I have supporters, I know I have people that love me, but damn, I didn't realize how much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you're not like a mainstream artist. If you put a Casper here or a Nasty here, there are artists that are very well known,
Yeah.
Now with Stogie, I feel like with Stogie is like caviar. Stogie is like sushi.
Yeah.
Stogie is like oysters, honestly.
Yeah. Like you really need to know your stuff to know
Exactly.
who Stogie is. Yeah. And I
it's
I
either for
understand.
you or it's not. There's no
Yeah.
in between. If you like oysters, either you like oysters or you don't like them. There's no in between. So I feel like Oyster is that kind of rapper.
Yeah.
That kind of artist.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. And I'm glad that you had a very good time. Did they actually ask him about Big Brother? Is because I don't know if you remember this at Back to the City last year. And we opened this performance with the freestyle. I guess I don't know. I don't know if it was a freestyle or if it was actually properly prepared, but I guess it was because it was rapping on Kanye's Big Brother's beat, and he dedicated that one to AKA. What was he asked about that one?
No, they didn't. When it came to the music, what they asked him about was he's dropping an EP next month in March, mid-March. Also, that's also questionable with the EP because we also spoke about that in the Islands, right?
Yeah,
what is an album? What is an EP? No, because
Yeah.
I think the one that is dropping is 6 tracks, if not 7.
And that's very close to an album.
Do you understand? I don't know. Was it him who said this or did I hear someone else? Speaking about the classification of albums and like body of works, I think they said that now something that is 49 minutes is classified as an album.
Oh, so it's
I'm not sure if it was you or it was him. I think that's what they said. So I don't know. So I don't think his is 49 minutes. I could be wrong, but he's dropping in mid-March. He said it's an EP, it's not an album. It says caffeine. Umpago. Remember how Shtaba gave us Umpago?
Yeah.
That's what it said. A lunchbox. He's giving us a young. It's called Shallow. Yeah, Shallow.
Okay.
I think not necessarily a lead single, but the one that they spoke about a lot. I think it's 80s Love.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It released that one last year. Yeah, released that one last year. Yeah.
Yeah. We're speaking about that Nelson Mandela and Winnie Love,
Yeah.
Yes, we went on to divorce back.
Yeah. But hopefully it will be better mastered because the 80s Love on the that I have on Apple Music, like it's very low quality. It's very poor quality.
No, but I think it would because he performed it as well. He had some lady, I didn't get her name. I think we'll float to it about her. I'll try and find her name. She's good. She sings.
Yeah.
He had a lady there also with the band. He had a whole band. And like I think a full band actually, it was a full band. And they performed like I think 7 songs. They
Yeah,
performed 7 songs. It was a beautiful performance. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I love the rendition of By Any Means. It was Diamond Walk. Like I really loved that performance. It was beautiful. And I think it was, it was a very intimate vibe.
mm,
It was very intimate. The stage is here, we're all standing here. So he could literally look into someone's eyes and rap, and the person would rap back to him.
yeah,
You know, he would look into the next person's eyes and just smile, and the person would smile back. That's how close they were to, like, to him. And I said that gave people an experience of it's nice when I'm able to see my favorite artist like this. I have access to him like this,
yeah,
and I actually got that for free.
yeah.
I was
You didn't
actually
pay
just
his
invited here.
bro. The thing is, Stogie doesn't just perform anywhere in South Africa. Like, he actually gets to fly to the countries like France. He's all over Europe, and people get to pay to see him over there. And you guys had like,
Yeah,
I don't know how long was like a half an hour, close to an hour,
yeah,
um, watching him perform. Like that's a full set,
yeah.
and you did that for
Literally,
free.
literally. It was supposed to be 30 minutes, but it took longer than that because as I said, it started around 10 past 9, and
Yeah,
then I left at around 20 past, if I'm not mistaken, quarter past 20 past 9 at 10. So it took almost an hour. It was beautiful. You know when you want to end a song, but then the keys, the band was amazing. To
yeah.
the point
They
where he
just
was
keep
just
playing.
quiet. Yeah, the point where I think for like a good 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes, he was just quiet. The band was just whiling, and they were amazing. People who take time into perfecting their work,
Yeah.
and it makes sense with the artists that they are working with. I feel like Stogie is a perfectionist,
No, he is. He is.
so it makes sense with nobody like that.
Yeah, and it's actually not something new for him. And I think actually, as a South African hip hop artist, it might have been the first hip hop artist to perform with a band when he was
And
with
yeah,
the volume. And that was like early 2000. It's not something
mm-hmm.
that you. I mean, even with most modern, I guess, younger artists at the time, not a lot of them actually performed with a live
Yeah,
band, regardless of the genre. There's very few who did. So he's a true hip hop pioneer, I guess,
yeah, he is.
in that
He is.
sense. Yeah, he's a true
He
hip
is.
hop pioneer.
I think what I love is I'm a sucker for good sound.
Yeah,
I am a sucker for good sound, and one thing about it, they got it right because it's difficult sometimes to hear lyrics over a band, but we were
yeah,
able to hear what Stogie was saying
yeah,
over those drums, over the bass guitar, over the piano. We were able to hear those girls' vocals. The girl is loud, but we were still able to hear Stogie rap, because the sound was that crisp.
yeah. No, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I was actually very disappointed that I wasn't able to attend. It's something that I really wanted to see,
I would have
to
loved
be
it.
at myself. Yeah, and I saw that you were with the speaker as well. I saw that he was there. You wouldn't
Yeah,
miss it.
and he wouldn't. And the funny thing, before speak, right? Because when I got there, I can't see that, even though I'm in my glasses, right? Especially like if there's a distance. So I got there, and it's like, oh, downstairs when we came in, they gave us like small Yana tags for like complimentary drinks.
Yeah,
Again, being paid thing. It's like, hey, this organization is nice. You know, so I got there, and when I walk in, it's like, can I get something to drink? So I'm like, no, I already had my water. I put water on my way to a thingy.
yeah,
I'm like, no, it's fine. I have my water. So I'm standing at the corner there. I'm on my phone, trying not to look awkward. So they're like, no, you need to wait here. Then at like 7, we're gonna go up to the theater. Then we woke up. Before we woke up, then walking towards the stairs. Then I see somebody that I know. I knew, years ago. I was in the person since 20. When did I graduate? 2018. The last time I saw them was 2017.
yeah. That's a while ago.
Literally, yeah. But nothing. Follow on Instagram. So I see them now and again. So
Yeah,
when I saw them, they were like, oh, okay. Then we sat together. Then I was sitting down. I saw speaker walk in, and I saw Elflow, but then they didn't see me because I'm staring like this dog. So I saw them afterwards. So when the thingy finished, I went downstairs. Then when I looked up, speaker was there speaking only Utumbi, right?
yeah,
So I'm like, speaker, and he just lost. You know how Sticker is. You'd say he's high on something. This time, it doesn't do none of that. So I call him, he just loses his mind. He's like, I'm coming on, I speak to Stogie, then he comes down. Now, before he comes down, now I'm having a conversation downstairs with people I've never met a day in my life, Manelisi.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Because I think it was such a mindfuck for so many people because people were having conversations with people they don't know.
No.
As I said, a lot of us came there by ourselves. But the way the conversations were flowing, it was such a beautiful thing. I think that's one thing I took out of that. At some point, the CMC 6, like, Fred Peckout came and joined. Everyone is just, so, you know, when people have a conversation and you like what you're hearing,
yeah,
you just turn and join them. That's usually how it was happening.
Yeah.
It started 2 people, it went to 3, it went to 4, it went to 5, it went to 6. At some point, it's like 8 of us, they're talking. We all don't know each other's names. Like, literally, for a good 20 minutes, we just spoke. Sugar came, he joined, he did the same thing, he started speaking. People would leave, people would come, and I'm just like, this is what the hip hop culture is about.
Yeah.
We actually became a family, and for me, it was like I love this, you know?
Yeah, and you know, it's something that we tend to say tend to talk about sometimes. To say that how hip hop as a culture it brings us together. That we might not know each other, but just because we've been brought together by hip hop, as long as there's love and there's respect, it's always a good time. And it's something that I've also said before that in a hip hop setting, it's always like we can all disagree as far as top 5 or best rapper or anything like that. And you know, we know that each and every one of us were willing to go to war for our favorite rappers and our favorite producers. But that is when we're just having conversations, right? But when hip hop itself brings us together into a space, it's always love and respect. Just as long as you don't bring up the top 5, you don't bring up your preferences. We just talk about hip hop in general. That is always a beautiful thing. It's always a good time.
Yeah. And funny thing, that came up quite a lot. Even when Stogie was on, like, they were speaking to him. And he's like, guys, if you want to get a Twitter talking or social media talking, just drop a list.
Yeah.
Of something, just drop a list, especially hip hop. We are very touchy. We are very emotional beings. So the minute you say it's top 5 yam or top 5 this or top already, then get like, okay, give me that list. I will post it, you know, because you know it's going to give you that traction. It's going to give you that traction. And after that, when we're out after the whole recording before performance, those things are raised. Now people are asking each other, what's your top 3 Stogie songs? And to show how much of not a huge artist Stogie is, but like his not necessarily different, but yes, you know, the people gave us a top 3 from T from the V.
Yeah.
And people gave us top 3 from Stogie. The people gave us top 3 from both. You know?
Yeah.
We felt a different. It felt like we were discussing 2 different artists, but it was actually one person.
Yeah. You know, because when you think about it, there's Stogie hasn't done a song like Maria. I mean, there's Maria when at least when it was still Do Me From the Volume or Do Me and the Volume, and then there's By Any Means Necessary as Stogie, and those are 2 different artists. Even though it's still Stogie, even though it's still Do Me, but those are 2 different artists.
That's the thing. So I think it brought up a whole lot of conversation because now it also led to classic albums. And some guy, he was saying he doesn't feel like we have classic albums in South Africa, classic hip hop albums. And he said it to the wrong person because I was standing with speaker. You know, if you think I love South African hip hop, if you think I love South African hip hop, you haven't met speaker. Because like, what do you mean, dog? Then this guy like, give me one. Literally at the same time, speaker was just like, snakes and ladders. Same time.
Yeah.
The film you say it at the same time, it should say something to you. You know,
Yeah.
it should say something to you. Then this guy is saying, but then that means it's your classic album. Then I'm just like, but then you asked us the question the same way because he was standing on the fact that Ilmatic is a classic album. I'm just like, but what if it's a classic to you? The same way you're saying Snakes and Ladders is a classic to us. What if Ilmatic is not classic to me?
Yeah. Because
You
I
know,
mean, yeah, and in that conversation, personally, I would have said heads and tails. And
like
because when you're talking about a classic
I
album,
think Sabelo mentioned that. Sabelo also mentioned that one. You know,
yeah, like because when we talk about a classic album, we're talking about an album that has been released because it's almost, I think it's 19 years this year since Heads and Tails was released, but you can still go back to and listen to it like it just
yes,
came out yesterday.
okay,
Each and every song on that album still hits you. And each and every song, each and everything that Pro is saying on that album is still relevant to life today. It still makes sense. That is a classic album, and there's so many of them that exist in South African hip hop.
I think one thing I picked up from him is he's a hip hop guy, yes, but he's more of um you English hip hop guy. I don't want to say American, but English hip hop guy. And I feel like locally you don't get a lot of those.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
yes, there's Levels. Levels is one of the best albums in the country, but Zabaleg, you know. So I think in his head it was that thing. We don't have classic albums because of that. I think for me, the way I heard him, if it wasn't for the language, I feel like he would have agreed would we have classic albums in this country.
yeah.
But he was saying that there's no classic hip hop albums. I'm just like, nah.
Now I think it's more. I think it was more influenced by Stogie more than uh, his own opinion. Because we first heard it from Stogie saying that there's no classic hip hop album.
Yes.
And if Scoop was a different person, they actually
Mm-hmm.
would have squared up when Stogie
Yes.
said that. Yeah,
Easily.
yeah.
Because he said it again on the podcast and somebody screamed to the crowd. They were like levels, you know?
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah,
yeah. I mean, you're Stogie, but still, we can call you out, or we can still call you out when
easily.
you're wrong. You know,
Easily.
yeah, and that's
Easily.
also
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and that's also another thing about what's beautiful about hip hop that it doesn't matter who you are. When it comes to conversation, we are all equal. We are all
Conversations
the
will be
same.
had.
Yeah,
Yes.
the conversation will be had. If you're wrong,
Yeah.
now we're going to tell you that you're wrong.
I think that's what I love about it, man. You're an artist, yes, right? When you perform, we put you on that pedestal. But when you're done, we're all the same. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah.
We are all human beings at the end of the day. I feel like that's one thing I like about the hip hop industry, guys. There's no abo better than.
Now,
There's none of that. We're all gonna sit here and have a conversation.
yeah,
We're all
yeah.
gonna talk. I mean, who's a Picada was there, and for me, he's one of the greatest DJs we have in this country, hip hop DJs. Zandy was there, you know. But everyone was just we're all just lovers of hip hop.
Yeah,
We're all
and
here to have a conversation, we're all here to enjoy, so you to perform. Nobody is better than anyone.
it's all love and respect at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Even though we're going to call each other out, but it's all out of
Yes.
love. And still, while we're on there, and this I feel like is part of the reason why it made Rashid so upset at Stoke, or at least it's one of the things that piles on to the whatever friction that exists between Stogie and Rashid. And at the same time, and I'm saying this right now, uh, not because it's not something I want to see. Uh, a beef between Stogie and Rashid because I feel like it would be unfair, and
I
also it
don't
doesn't even make sense. But Rashid, on when was the recording, the Summer podcast recording? Was it on Wednesday?
Oh, it's last week Thursday, then
That's Thursday.
on yeah.
Yeah.
Then on
So
Friday he dropped the single.
Yeah, and on Friday, Rashid dropped his track, OG versus a nigga that's old. Just from the title itself,
So it's just a diss track where it's a Stogie. Like there's nothing else on the track. Like it's just talking about Stogie. I didn't listen to it.
yeah, it's just addressing what Stogie said. So for people who are trying to understand what we're talking about, so on chopping into it with Zinger, which is Zinger's podcast. Um, Zinger had Rashid on there, and they were talking about. I didn't even get to watch the episode. I actually just saw the clip, but they were just having a conversation, and Stogie came up with actually Rashid was giving a history, I guess, of
Mm-hmm.
a bit of history about South African hip hop and some hip hop artists, and he mentioned Stogie saying that Stogie started as a poet
Mm-hmm.
before he became a rapper, and that's what made Stogie upset to say, uh, okay, dude, we know that you know your history, you know that you know your story when it comes to hip hop, but some things you do get wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, some things you do get wrong, and you all do. You get, no matter how good you are at whatever it is that you do, sometimes you just do get things wrong. So Stogie was upset that he was called, that Rashid said he was a poet. Started off as a poet because it shows he doesn't know his history as well as the things he does. And, Stogie went on Instagram, made a video, put it up on Instagram, and he said, and he told Zinger that he should be able to recognize, or rather tell apart from an OG
Okay.
and a nigga that's just old,
Oh, nigga. Yeah.
referring to Rashid. And Rashid, I think right now is in his mid, early 40s, I think, I guess. But at the same time, I think Stogie is a bit older. But I
Thank
think Stogie might be just a little bit older than Rashid, if not around the same age. I don't know.
you. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it. And then last week Friday, Rashid comes up with a single, and he comes up with the single already having a music video for it, where he has this guy running up. I think they're at the stadium. I don't know whose stadium it is, but he has this guy who I suppose is supposed to be Stogie, because I don't know if you noticed, but Stogie started exercising as well. Started going to
Yeah.
the gym earlier this year. So now this
Yeah.
guy is also like in Air Jordan ones, with the hoodie, and he's shaped just like Stogie, running up a ramp, sort of like exercising. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Rashid on that song is just talking, basically addressing that video from Stogie. And for me, I don't understand why Rashid chose to do a song, to do a diss track, because it's not some. I don't think it's something that is worth responding to, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's
I was
not
saying
something
the
with.
same thing as well. I was saying the same thing. Like, guys, Rashid is a friend of the show. I like Rashid a lot. But guys, also there are people you might wanna go up against. Stogie is not one of them.
It's not.
I got it, but Stogie is not one of them. Especially if you don't rap for a living.
Yeah,
It's gonna take a while for you to get those bars and get those raps. If he rapped for a living, I'd be like, get it, my boy. You can do anything, you know. But then it's going to take. Let's say Stogie were to reply, he's going to trim. He's going to trim and spit him out, and he'll wanna come back and say something, but he won't be able to.
yeah, and
You know,
yeah, and personally, I don't even see Stogie responding to that.
I feel like
Uh,
he shouldn't. I
yeah,
really feel like he shouldn't.
yeah. I mean, like, on a serious note, I do not see him responding to that, because I think he just sat down, he listened to it, and he's like, okay, because when you think about it in a logical sense, if you respond to Rashid through this, as a okay, Rashid is not a rapper himself. He used to
Mm-hmm.
rap a long time ago when he started his hip hop journey. but rapping is not his thing. Do not know him for that. And then you have someone who raps for a living, who's been
Mm-hmm.
rapping since I don't know when. He was born to be a hip hop artist.
Do the thing.
Yeah. So for Stogie to respond, I feel like it would be he'd be letting himself down.
Injustice to himself.
Yeah, it would
For
be an
me,
injustice.
to be quite
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, it would be an injustice to himself. It's basically uh, a suicide bombing in a sense,
Yeah.
because either as if it responds, Stogie automatically wins because when someone comes into your arena, uh, into a space where you thrive the most, a space that belongs to you, and they threaten you, and you respond to that, it means that you feel threatened. You feel like this person
Exactly.
is actually worth, uh,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's just not worth it. I don't see Stogie responding.
I think Uso said he might respond because it's dropping next month. But I really feel like Ustogi is not just not a cloud chaser, but I feel
Yeah,
like he doesn't need drama before he drops.
yeah,
His people will listen. I feel like that's the kind of niche he has built for himself. Unaban bike. And
yeah.
when he drops, those people will listen. There's no need for him to have no how you always have like scandals and stuff before they drop,
Mm.
just so their names can be in people's mouths and lips or whatever. I feel like Stogie is not there. He's not that person.
He doesn't
I
need
feel like he's the type of person who can literally just wake up and start to drop the EP on any Friday without announcing
that.
beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, like
And his people will listen.
yeah, he doesn't need that because another thing that we need to remember is that a lot of the beef that we see in the media is usually manufactured, and there is usually an end goal to whatever it is, and I mean the main goal is that people should be interested in what you are doing at the time and how you're
Yeah,
going to. Basically, everyone needs to be talking about you.
yeah,
Stogie has never needed that in his career, even though he might have wanted it in his earlier days, but his branding, his positioning in the
yeah.
in the music industry has never been one where he wants to be on the front pages because of a beef or because of an altercation or anything like that. So now, where he is today, he definitely does not need this one, but
Seven.
uh,
All right, man.
with Rashid. Yeah, it's
You know, a
good.
person who's just at peak
Yeah,
is just working out, is recording his music, is working his God.
yeah. I mean,
I feel like there's no need for any drama. Just
I mean
let
the
your work speak for itself.
yeah, like someone that still might maybe respond to if they said something would be someone like Osmond, someone at that level.
Yes.
Could be someone who carries serious weight.
Basically, a hot man is a hot man.
Yeah,
That's what
Hoodman
you
to
say.
Hoodman, basically. And it's
I
not
hear
to say,
you.
yeah, and it's not to say that Rashid does not carry any weight, but Osmic is far, far bigger, far big. He's a Hoodman there. Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
So that's the downside about being a person who reacts. Because Rashid reacts a lot, and because of that, people no longer take him serious.
Yeah,
If he wasn't a person who reacts a lot, when he said something, it would hold a lot of weight.
yeah, yeah. That's
But because
true.
he reacts, because right now, like, when has he ever seen us say anything about anyone?
Never.
Just stays behind the scenes working. So
Yeah,
if you were to say something right now, the people in the game would be like, damn, okay,
yeah, and it would actually make
okay.
us. Yeah, it would actually
Make us
make us.
stop on our tracks and want to listen.
Yeah, because I mean, we've never heard Osmic having an issue with anyone at all. So now, when something like this, when it makes public, becomes public that
Mm-hmm.
Osmic has an issue with a person, we're all going to be interested to know why is Osmic,
What's going on?
what's going on? Because this guy never says anything, and now suddenly he's saying something about someone. But yeah, I mean, someone at Cosmic's level, that is someone that Stogie would respond to.
Good. Good.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, But as far as our content today is concerned, that's all I had. I only had KO and
Mhm.
Stogie in mind. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna start Stogie again. Stogie's dropping mid-March, mid-March, but he hasn't given us a date. The EP is called Shallow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because Stogie hasn't dropped in a while, like a body of work that is.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. I'm
Always
also looking
fresh
forward to it.
listening to Stogie. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, Java is doing a second round tour of his mobile album. So dates will be coming out very soon.
Really,
Yeah, so he's doing a second round.
I am going. Even if
Tour.
it means I'm going by myself,
Yeah,
I'm going.
yeah,
I am
no,
not going to deny myself experience of this year because I have anxiety. I even
yeah, yeah.
I
Now,
don't. I
yeah, I'll also have to attend at least one of those. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, his concert last year was brilliant.
It's
So I
amazing.
definitely have to attend at least one of those. And there's also a card happening very soon. I forgot when it's happening. Well, one of
It's
my
annoying in a couple of weeks. I think 2, 3 weeks.
yes, it's sometime in March.
Yeah.
I just forget which date it is, but I think it's like it actually might be next week if I remember correctly. It's either
The
next
weekend
week.
of the ninth, no? I think it's the
Yeah,
weekend of the ninth, if
yeah,
I'm not mistaken.
yeah. So, somewhere around this, which means that it should be next week. But
Yeah.
yeah, one of my instructors, basement will be performing. I heard that he needs a driver. So I don't know. We'll see about my availability. But it's actually something that
Interesting.
yeah, something that I actually want to attend.
You
So
should.
yeah, I have to find every single way, even if I have to carry his USB. I'll try my absolute best to be there. I'll try my
We are
absolute
doing
best to be
everything
there.
this year. This
Yeah,
year
we're
we are
doing
doing the
everything.
most. We're
Yeah,
doing the most. I think
yeah,
even I did that Stogie thing, I'm just like, Muzamba no one. But I'm like, you know what? Muzamba you one.
yeah,
I didn't even ask, literally, I didn't even ask anyone because I could have literally sent the thing to anyone,
mm,
Go check out Stogie's profile and enter your name and not let's go. I didn't. I just went, entered my name, and sent it.
yeah, yeah.
And
But yeah,
when I knocked off, I just went to the venue.
yeah. Did they say when the episode is dropping?
No, the didn't say. I wanted to check earlier today, but my day was just a mess. But the didn't say. I'll check tomorrow
No.
and see if they announced anything yet. But they didn't say.
All right.
Oh, and speaker wanted a picture with Stogie. Stogie's like, wait, now. You have a whole video with me. Why do you want a picture? He's like, hey, I want a picture with you. Forget the video. So he's saying he's on stage with Stogie, right? I'm standing lap hand, so they want me to take a picture. So Ilflo is standing not far from us, but Stogie was loud, so he could hear that. So the
Yeah,
next day, Ilflo tweets that, no, speaker posted the pictures, right?
yeah.
Then Ilflo quotes reply that thing is like, you have a whole video with me. Why do you want the picture, nigga? And Speaker's like, yeah, and you heard that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, he heard that. Stogie was quite loud. He's like, I want the picture, not a video. Today, I want the picture. And it was
Yeah,
so nice because earlier during the recording, they were speaking about how he was not really a nice person a few years ago.
yeah,
He would turn people down for pictures. He wasn't just. Because that's what I'm saying. Stogie is in a different place right now.
yeah,
Stogie before was giving "Don't approach me," don't
yeah.
even show off. But now, I
It's
think
just
the
chill.
more you get to know him, the more he's good. Actually, that's another one. This one.
Yeah, but do you think it might actually be like socially awkward? Because when you're an artist, and Stogie's been famous for quite a while, I
Mm-hmm.
think at some point you can actually get to kind of relax. But for him to actually deny people pictures or whatever, do you think it was just him being a mean person or being unfriendly, or it stems from some social awkwardness?
I think he grew to become social or a social being. I think he wasn't. I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but I think he wasn't. Because look at him now. Yes, obviously, Uzokatala, like taking a lot of pictures in the night, right? But it's different when you bump into a person taking his kids to a movie experience. He
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
want to be bombarded with that, you know. Yes, he might take a picture, he might not, which is also a bit valid. He can see he's working with his kids, trying to spend quality time.
Yeah.
Unlike when he's out performing, there he's working, so he's gonna give you guys those pictures. So I think over the years he's learned to also understand that some people just don't. Personally, I don't go up to people and ask for pictures. I'll take a picture of the story because I feel like I've been a friend for that long and I've met him multiple times. We recognize each other.
Yeah.
I'd take a snap like, oh, we're here together, memories and whatnot. But I'm not a person who go up to an artist and ask for a picture. Whether it's at an event, yeah, I can, or at the mall, right? So I find it very weird when someone will walk up to a person. I understand you love them, right? But for you can see this person having dinner with his family and you want a picture. Then when they say no, you're saying they mean or they rude. For me, it's very questionable because I know I wouldn't want to be disturbed when I'm out having dinner with my family.
And you know that there's fans who actually feel entitled
Yes, that's
to
my
pictures.
thing.
So
And another thing, if I say yes to Manelisi, the restaurant is full, then they're gonna say, oh, it's actually doing this. Let me
yeah,
also go. Now I end up spending 30 minutes with that. Your kids are 10. Omega is 4, 5. I understand what's going on.
but
Why am
yeah,
I taking so much attention? I'm trying to spend time like November, but now other people are
like
here.
who are all these people coming to our
Exactly. I feel
table?
like people
Yeah,
sometimes fail to read the room. An event, go ahead. He's at work, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But why would you, somebody's out there Woolies trying to find a dress that's going to fit her? Hi, look, last can I get a picture? No, guys. No.
And you know, like
No, guys.
yeah,
No.
and just imagine you're having a really bad day. You're very short on time,
Exactly.
and now you've got all these people. They're just happy to see you. They don't care that you're in a rush. They don't care that you are not able to find what you're looking for. All they want is there's a picture and to have a small conversation.
If that happens to you, Wako, you're not an artist or anything, but there are days where you're so irritable.
Yeah,
Your attention span is like, don't try me.
yeah.
You
Like
know?
even in public, you avoid people that you know. Like you see someone from a
Exactly.
distance, like I do not want this person to see me because I just want to get out of here.
Yeah. So I think over the years, he's just gotten to a point where it's like, no, some people are entitled. There are
Mm.
days where I'll give them what they want, and there are days where I won't give them what they want. And like,
Yeah,
people need to accept that, man. Like, I feel like artists are also people,
yeah,
and they ought to be treated like such.
yeah. Uh, it's just the way that it is. Just the way that it is. And thankfully, he's also like becoming more sociable and it's
No, he is.
becoming easier to access.
No,
Uh,
he is. I really feel like he is.
yeah.
Because I myself, I would have never approached Stogie 6, 7 years ago.
Uh,
You know,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah. Maybe actually, when I saw him last year, maybe I actually caught him at a very good time. Uh, in a far better space than it was a couple of years ago.
that's what I'm telling you. Like 6, 7 years ago, I wouldn't. But now it's just like, okay. You know, you bump into him anyway. It's like an event at the mall or whatever. He's an approachable guy, right? I don't know if maybe he understood the industry that he's in or what people expect from him,
Yeah.
or he just became more chilled. Could be that also. It's like his walls are no longer that high up or he's no longer that guarded, you know?
Yeah.
Because right now he's very easy to approach.
He was actually very close to AKA. Do you think that he might have actually learned that from him or just figured out from him? Because you know what, you don't have to be that guy. You should actually show more love to the people that love
Yeah. Because remember how Kenan was as well? Kenan used to be, uh, Kenan used to cause a ruckus, guys. He was mean. Kenan was mean. And by the time he came, like this demise came, he was the loveliest people
you.
ever. He
Yeah,
was amazing. You would bump into Kenan. He was amazing. He was also in that space. Chilled, walls are down. When I greet him, he's gonna greet you back. When a picture, he's gonna give you that. You want to hug, he's gonna give you that.
Yeah.
You want to pass him a ball, he's gonna kick it back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it comes with time in the game. I think it could be that understanding what some people expect from you, understanding what you can give. I think it comes with that.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good to see. Like it's wonderful to see a person grow, and a
Yes,
person become, uh,
definitely.
yeah, a far better person than what they used to.
True. And that's true. Yep. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's all I had. I had a good time last week, and I hope I do more of these events.
No, definitely. This year we need to do a whole lot more. We need to do a lot more than what we used to do. But yeah, anyway, that is all for me as well. But we will be back again next week with a brand new episode of the Oracles. Until then, have a good one. Cheers.
Peace.